Inclusion. Helen was surprised to hear from Zena again so soon. She had helped out with getting the pill for young Lucy, and thought that the matter was dealt with for the moment. "How can I help you? Is there an issue with Lucy?" Helen asked, concerned. "Well, no and yes," Zena said, somewhat cryptically. "It's not just Lucy. We have another problem." "That's fine. I can make an appointment for you this week," said cheerily. "Is it just the three of you again?" "No. I want to bring the entire family to see you," Zena said somberly. "Oh, what's the problem?" Helen was now most concerned. "Not on the phone," Zena replied. "Oh, okay. I understand." Helen paused a moment. "There are 6 of you from memory. You won't all fit in my office." Then after the flicking of pages in her diary, "Lucy trains on Saturday mornings. Correct?" "Yes. Until lunch. How about you all come around on Saturday, after lunch, and I'll make sure my family is out of the way and we can use the living room. Plenty of space there. Say 2 p.m? That would be great. 2 p.m. Saturday. We'll see you then." Helen was perplexed. What could have happened in such a short time? And the whole family? It was Monday morning. Saturday lunch was a long way off for Zena and her crew. As a family, they had resolved to do nothing unusual until they spoke with Helen. Sam still slept with Luke. They convinced their parents to allow them to continue unprotected sex for another week. Lucy, recovered sufficiently from the flogging she gave herself on Saturday, appeared in Adam's room very early Sunday morning. Adam, shorter and thinner than his dad, was delighted to bury all of his shaft into his little sister. Adam and Luke both had afternoon visits with their mom after school. The doors to all their rooms were now left open, by consensus. Adam emerged from his room on the Tuesday afternoon to see both Luke and Sam with their mother. Luke was fucking her doggy style as Sam lay underneath sucking on her swaying tits. He forgot why he came out, he just wandered in and took up position with his tongue in Sam's cunt. Lucy heard the commotion and joined them. Adam's swaying cock seemed like a good place to start. Martin was a little jealous when he returned from work and Sam told him the story. She consoled him with a nice, long, private cocksuck. The twins had still not joined. Luke was a little intimidated by Lucy's athleticism, and the competition for maiden and Dad's big cocks. His was not tiny, but it was not huge like theirs. They also had a problem with venue. Lucy felt a bit weird to do it with Adam next door, and Luke couldn't imagine bringing her to his same bed where he fucked Sam. Not for their first twin fuck. Zena sorted it. She had noticed the Mexican standoff. She invited them both to her room on the Thursday afternoon for a chat. Some chat. "Okay you two. This has gone on long enough. I know we said no more closed doors, but I'm leaving now and I'm closing the door behind me. Now get naked and fuck. The tension is killing me." And with that she was gone. The twins looked at each other and laughed. They came together for a hug at the foot of the bed, at which point athletic Lucy threw herself and the brother in her arms onto the bed. They rolled around, still clothed, on the bed, wrestling and hugging and kissing. When Luke finally subdued Lucy, or more correctly, when Lucy finally allowed Luke think he had subdued her, the kissing became a lot more serious. The sort of kissing where cocks get hard and pussies get wet, and hands start exploring in great earnest. Both kids were only wearing house clothes, soft, loose-fitting and only enough to hide the tricky bits. Luke shifted himself to one side and thrust his hand down the front of Lucy's panties. She was dripping wet. Luke's move had shifted his cock away from Lucy's belly. Her hand slid up from underneath and grabbed his shaft in her vice-like grip. She didn't care that she was grabbing him through his shorts. She had her twin brother's cock in her hand, and it felt great. Luke lifted his face away from Lucy's, and the two looked at each other, both wide-eyed. Luke sprang from his sister, kneeling on the bed, clambering to remove his clothes. Lucy, laying there, did the same. Still kneeling, Luke watched as Lucy spread her legs wide, in one fast and very deliberate athletic motion. He saw her shiny, wet, black pussy and the cute pink hole in the middle and leapt onto her. She threw one arm around his back and slid the other hand down to grab his cock once more. She wanted it inside her and didn't want to trust his aim. She held his cock at the entrance to her tight little cunt and spoke 2 words. "Do it." Luke fucked his twin sister that day. Perhaps it would be more accurate to say that they fucked each other. They were a fairly even match by weight and height. Lucy was supremely fit, But Luke had started to build some adult muscle, so a wrestling match between the two was very equal. And that is what happened. Luke and Lucy wrestled and fucked and sucked and licked and fingered and kissed for another 2 hours. They would stop for a pee, or a quick drink from the faucet, then jump back on the bed and go again. Xena peeked through the door in the middle of it and could see how much fun they were having, her twins, naked together, romping on her bed. She was a very happy lady. Saturday finally arrived, and Martin and Lucy went off to athletics as usual. Lucy finished her training in short measure, keen to get back home and join the family. They showered like normal, but no sex. Lucy took the time to pee on her father's hand, just to remind him that her pussy was his. They showered, dried, tidied and locked up in less than 15 minutes. In the car home, Lucy started to masturbate. "What are you doing?" Martin asked, puzzled. "Making myself wet," she answered in a matter-of-fact voice. "I come home wet every week, and being dry today feels strange." When they arrived, the rest of the family were already dressed, ready to go. Xena had constructed a simple sandwich lunch, but insisted they sit together, as the family, and eat as one. They all had a chance to contribute to the family discussion on why they were going to see Helen. The parents were concerned with health and contraception. The kids were more concerned about the normality of their situation. They were fairly sure that other kids at school didn't get up to the things they were now doing. But how would they know? They weren't about to tell their friends any family secrets, so why would the reverse not also be true? Helen welcomed them all to her office at exactly 2 p.m. They had arrived in her street 5 minutes earlier, so stopped down the road to kill the time and to make sure everyone remembered what they wanted to discuss. "Go through to the office and wait there for a second," with Helen requested. After the last of the family were inside the external door, she locked it behind them and followed the crowd inside. Standing in her office, she spoke again. "We'll have our group chat on our living room. My family are confined to their rooms, no hardship I assure you, until I release them." Helen paused, then opening the door through to the house, went on, "Please follow me through." Luke, who was at the tail, dutifully shut the door behind himself. Helen's office, sweet really, was a little enclave to the right side of the house if you entered via her front door. The formal lounge room was on the left. As the family tagged along behind, they crossed the entrance foyer where they saw further into Helen's home. Lovely, thought Xena. Helen had arranged a single lounge seat for herself with her back to the front window which looked out on the street. Her location gave her a sweeping view out into the house so she could watch for unwanted visits from her own family. The Emersons distributed themselves around the room in a loose circle. Martin with Ina, Sam and Luke together, Adam and Lucy on single seats. "Does anyone need a drink? There is water on the table, but if you want something else, just ask," Helen offered. "No. We are all good," Xena answered for the family. "We just finished lunch." Helen paused for a moment to glance around the room, looking for signs of anxiety, stress, whatever. The whole family looked fairly relaxed, which added to the intrigue. "Well, you have me puzzled. I thought everything was resolved a few weeks ago." Helen paused. "Who would like to fill me in on the reason for this visit?" "One question first," Martin stated, before any in the family could speak. "Are we all your clients, patients?" he asked directly. "That depends," Helen answered. "Would you like to be?" "Yes," Martin replied, assertively. "Then you are." Helen matched his tone. "Now let's start with why you just asked that question." "Martin? Because during our last visit you said that all our discussions about Lucy's periods and sexuality were covered by doctor-patient confidentiality. True?" "True," Helen confirmed. "Then we all need to be your patient, the whole family." Then after a pause, "We all have some stories to tell. All of you." "All." Xena spoke for the first time, her voice firm and stern. Helen looked around the room and caught the eye of each of the children in turn. Each nodded or gave her a guilty, sheepish grin. Sam's grin was more self-satisfied than sheepish. "Oh," is all that Helen could muster. Xena took the lead from that point and recounted the whole sordid tale of deception, secret meetings, hidden camera, all the way up to family powwow the previous Saturday, and beyond. Helen sat there and listened, taking no notes, even though she had a notepad stashed in her seat. She interrupted with occasional short question, seeking clarification on key points, but all in all it was Xena telling the story with her tribe looking on. "Okay, I think I have the gist of it," Helen finally announced. I need to ask each and every one of you the same simple question. You will not answer me until you are looking me in the eye. I don't care what comes out of your mouth. Eyes don't lie, okay? A little unsure of the question, they all nodded agreement. Are you being forced or coerced into any of this? Helen asked, her voice deadly stern. She started her gaze. She looked at Zena. No. Martin. No. Adam. Hell no. Lucy. What he said. Pointing to Adam. Luke. Yes. Sam doesn't stop making me. He replied, the twinkle in his eye making a liar of his mouth. Sam clobbered him across the chest with a mighty backhand slap. See? She is terrible. Zena leaned forward to intervene. Helen stopped her with a single raised hand. Samantha, you terrible girl. Are you really forcing yourself on your brother? Helen asked. Her voice told both kids that she got the joke. Yes, no, oh shoot. I don't know. Then collecting her thoughts she formed a full sentence. Nobody is forcing me to do anything ... but I'm gonna clobber this ratbag later. She answered, elbowing her brother hard. Helen sat quietly for a moment to allow the tumult to die down. She spoke again. That is, by far, the healthiest, most grounded answer I have ever received to that question. I'm talking about all of you ... even Mr. Cheeky over here, bringing some levity to a very serious question, while still giving me the answer I needed. I don't see a problem here. She stated directly. I gather you all have questions. Martin started. Contraception? One question to you and Zena. Have you had enough of these brats? She asked, pointing to all of their children. Hell yes. Was Zena's reply. Helen could see Martin quietly nodding his agreement. Then I recommend something permanent for both of you. That way you can drop the pill and both of you can have sex with whoever, said Helen, gesturing to the family at large. I don't see too many problems leaving Lucy on the pill. She can then use it to suppress her periods during training, and go back to normal the rest of the year. All three of the males, and Lucy, could not hide their smiles at that comment. That leaves you, young lady. Helen went on, turning her gaze to Sam. Did I hear correctly? You are having unprotected sex with Luke, but Adam and your dad are too big for you? Yes. Sam answered. ... and you haven't started puberty yet? No periods? No. That's why Luke and I. Sam started. Helen jumped in to end her sentence. ... have been getting away with it? That stops today. Helen said. I have hundreds of condoms around this house. We will find some that fit Luke and you, and he will promise me, and your parents, that you will use one every time from now on. Okay? They both nodded, but it was not enough for Helen. She pointed at both of them, one hand drilling into each face. Say it out loud. Promise. I promise. We promise. They said in unison. Now. Other questions? Helen put to the group. Cheeky Luke jumped in first. Are we the only family that does this? ... you know. Brothers and sisters, mothers with sons. You know. Oh. Excellent question. Mr. Cheeky is also Mr. Clever. She replied. Short answer. No exclamation mark ... there are others like you. She paused. Long answer. She paused again to choose her words. What you guys are doing is called by two names. The brother-sister, mother-son, father-daughter thing is called incest. It applies no matter what the ages are. The fact that you are related makes it incest. The fact that your mother had sex with you, and your dad had sex with Lucy, both of you being 14, makes them both pedophiles. You've maybe heard that word on TV. The kids nodded. Okay. Let me tell you this straight up. If the cops ever find out about the incest or the pedophilia, both of your parents are in jail. No questions. No excuses. Jail. That is why your father asked me if you were all patients. It limits what I can tell the cops. It is also the reason why I asked you whether you were being forced or coerced. You saying no means that I have no reason to break that doctor-patient bond. I am firmly of the opinion that you are a normal, happy family ... who fuck. She let that last bit sink in ... and there are quite a few families out there, normal, happy families ... and they fuck too. Helen paused a moment, then threw a curveball at them. Would you like to meet another family? The looks that flew around that room in that instant were intense. 100 silent conversations happening on top of each other. Children asking parents, can we? Parent asking parent, should we? Child screaming to child, Holy crap. It was Luke that finally found voice. Really? Sure. But it is up to your parents. Helen replied calmly. I know of a family of 4, all active, sexually active. Mom, Dad, older son, younger daughter. I'm pretty sure that they would like to meet you. Helen added. I'll tell you what. I have to go and tell my crew that we might run a little bit over. You discuss this between yourselves, and let me know when I get back. One extra thing, the other family have been active for a long time. They might be able to answer a lot more of your questions. Just stay here and I'll be back in a few minutes. With that, Helen disappeared from the room. She made a beeline for Alistair to see whether he wanted some new friends. The moment Helen said the family included an active 10-year-old girl, he was in. She found Dawn next, big black boys with big black cocks. Gentlemen one and all, sold. She found Ben last, emails, black, sold. She returned to the group as they were coming out of a huddle, still finding their seats. Helen walked gracefully through the center of the group and resumed her place. Well? Helen asked. Yes. Xena replied. The lioness had spoken. Okay. I need to tell you a little more about them. They are white. Blank stares saying who gives a shit from them all. The mother is under 40, petite, elegant, articulate and very beautiful. The boy's eyes lit up. The father is a fiction writer and self-confessed pedophile. Don't be concerned though. He is handsome, witty, and a true gentleman. He just has a penchant for sweet little things like your young Samantha. Their oldest is a young man about Adam's age, but more like Luke in stature. Nice boy, loves his mother and fucks her like crazy to show it. The youngest, their daughter, is petite like her mother, just 12, but don't let that fool you. She would make a beeline for Adam, and not let go. And about contraception. The mother and father are not an issue. Both have opted for a permanent solution. The son and daughter both have to use condoms, and they are very aware of the reason why. Come near the young girl without one and she will tear your balls off. So, is your answer still yes? This time the answer came from more than just Xena. Luke started, and all the kids followed suit with their yes votes. Both parents just nodded. So when does all this happen? Martin asked, always the one to handle the fine print. Now exclamation mark ... Don't you think I'm petite and elegant and beautiful? She asked the assembly. ... Inarticulate. Luke chimed in. He was listening, a fact which Helen noted. You are talking about your own family, Xena said, as both a question and a statement. Yes. Alistair, my husband ... and Ben and Dawn, my beautiful, wonderful children ... and what I said about them is all true. Alistair is charming. Trust me. Ben is horny as hell. Never mind the girls. Your statuesque beauty is going to blow his little mind. She said, nodding Xena's way ... and as for you. Pointing at Adam. When you see a little white girl about yay high coming your way, run.